Hello, everybody. Happy Friday to everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Cub Chat Live. I'm Aaron. I'm joined by our old dear friend, Lisa. How are you, ma'am?
I am doing great. It's good to see everybody.
It is so good to see you again. Lisa is a volunteer, just like all of you. She's been working very, very hard with Cub Scouts for many, many years. And she's one of the many people involved in this rollout that we're in the middle of. You guys probably are aware that we're kind of in the early stages of a months-long discussion about updates to the Cub Scout program. We started a couple of weeks ago with our good friend Audrey. Today, Lisa and I are going to talk about the updates to the Bobcat program, the Bobcat requirement, how all that's going to work. Before we get to that, though, Lisa, why don't we sort of reset the table, tell everybody kind of where we are, how we got here, and where we're going.
Great. All right. So let's talk about the updates that are actually going to be happening. So if we could actually show where we are right now, that would be great. So we will be having 6 required adventures. So the 6 required adventures you see there, it's and those 6 required adventures are focused. The topics are around the aims of the program. So our aims are character development, leadership, citizenship, and personal fitness. So you'll see a required adventure across all 6 ranks for that. And then you'll also see some of our focus areas, which are the outdoors, personal safety, and there's also a required adventure for family and reverence. You'll also see that we have 2 required adventures that are done for every single rank. And there'll be a number of elective adventures to be that you could choose from. So again, keep in mind that we have 6 required adventures and then 2 elective adventures, and that will get the kiddos to their rank.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa, for that recap. Shout out to Wendy, our good friend Wendy, Luke, Justin, Francie Lou, Christopher, and Rusty are all watching. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate that. If you have any questions or comments as we move forward today, now's the time to ask. That's what Cub Chat Live is here for. What's up, Maribel? Thank you for watching. We appreciate that very much. Behind the scenes, Brian, I'm sorry, throw that back up there one more time, that graphic that you just showed, please. And I want to point out to everybody what Lisa showed us, the 6 required adventures. You guys, if your screen is big enough, you can see that first adventure across the board for every rank is this thing called Bobcat, which you probably are noticing, wow, I didn't realize that was actually an adventure. That's interesting. Lisa, tell us what's up with that.
Well, we're changing it up, right? So right now in the program, Bobcat is a rank, and it's the first rank you do when you join the program, no matter when you join, except when you join as a lion. So when you join as a tiger, you do it. When you join as a bear in 3rd grade, you do it. And if you don't join until 5th grade, you actually have to do it also. So typically the way our ranks work is we have a rank per grade level. But again, like I said, except Bobcat. So when we started, when the National Cub Scouting Committee started surveying people and talking about what they liked and what some of their pain points are, they came up with, well, first of all, new families were super confused by Bobcat, our Bobcat rank.
Totally see that, right?
Right? Because we told them, based off of your grade level, your child's in 2nd grade, they're going to be called a wolf, and they're working on their wolf rank. But yet, first of all, they need to go back and do their Bobcat rank. These are brand new people. They don't know anything about their program. We've already made it complicated for them. And then our current families, we got some feedback. They said, well, I was a lion den leader, and then I'm a tiger den leader, and now I'm a wolf den leader. And I've got some new kids joining me. So now I have to stop, and we have to do Bobcat over again. And so they said, it's not horrible, but we got to stop what we're doing, and we got to do Bobcat so that we can get these new kids that joined my den on board. And then we also have the requirements for Bobcat are exactly the same from 1st grade through 5th grade. Now, when we introduced so they're not developmentally appropriate, right? For the first grader and the fifth grader, we all know the big changes that happen there. And then what was great was that the volunteer committee that created the Lion program, they took a look at the Bobcat requirements and said, you know what, that's just too much for a kindergartner. So now, while that was that is a great decision, now we've got another exception to our program. Again, another layer of complexity. So taking all that in, the National Cub Scouting Committee, when we decided to make the required adventures the same across all the ranks and focus on the aims, we said, you know what, let's take the Bobcat. We love the Bobcat. There's some historical significance to it, you know, as part of our program. And let's just have it be a required adventure that focuses on character and leadership.
I want to point out real quick, Justin says it was so difficult explaining ranks to new families. Thanks for standardizing. You're welcome, Justin. That was the idea in general. Appreciate that positive attitude there, Justin. Rob also commented that he's looking forward to learning more about the program updates. If you are looking to learn more about the program updates, you guys have come to the right place. I just want to point out real quick that this is one of 4 places you can go for the official approved word on Cub Scout program updates. Behind the scenes, Brian's going to put up a real link for you there real quick. There you go. That's a link you can go to get more information on where you can go to learn more about this. It is a months-long process. This is going to continue throughout the winter and into the spring. We're going to get to everything, guys. Trust me, we are going to get to it all over here the next few months. But today's show is focused on specifically the Bobcat rank, or should I say the Bobcat requirement now. The
Bobcat Adventure.
Bobcat Adventure, thank you. Thank you, Lisa, the Bobcat Adventure. I do have a question for you real quick, though, Lisa, before we move forward. I remember when I was a Cub Scout, we did this really cool Bobcat ceremony every fall, usually when somebody would join in. And it was a nice, fun little ceremony, kind of a welcome to the pack. And then we would do it again maybe the next fall for anybody who joined after that. What is the official stance on those ceremonies? Can those continue?
Absolutely. Because the Bobcat Adventure is the first required adventure that we would like you to do. The National Cub Scouting Committee, doesn't care how you do the rest of the required adventures or the rest of the elective adventures. But you'll see when we go over the requirements why we ask that the Bobcat be the first required adventure to be done. Typically it'll be done in the fall when the dens kind of come back together and regroup, kind of like when the school year starts. And why not have a Bobcat ceremony? And now, if everybody does their Bobcat first, everybody can participate in it. They can earn their belt loop or their pin, and you can actually recognize everybody in a pack meeting at the same time. I actually saw on social media, there was a gentleman who was lamenting, he's a legacy scout, right? And so he has his Bobcat, I can't remember if it was a pin or if it was a patch, and he would like to give it to his daughter. So when he saw our reimagining of the Bobcat, he was a little sad because he said, I really wanted to give my daughter my Bobcat patch. Why not have a ceremony, give that, a pack Bobcat ceremony, give that to your daughter, because it's very meaningful to you. Plus, it shows all the other families how meaningful the program is to him, that he's a legacy and he wants his children to be able to have the same experiences that he did and learn the same things that he did. He felt this program was so powerful to him as a child that he wants his children to go through it. So I say celebrate that, right? There's nothing stopping you from doing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. We got quite a few folks actually watching on YouTube, including Andrea, who says many packs have special ceremonies for Cub Scouts who earn the Bobcat rank. You just asked the question I was about to ask. Thank you, Andrea. Yes, we are so in touch with our viewers. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, everybody. So as you said, Lisa, the Bobcat Adventure is designed to be the first required adventure. And can you talk about that a little bit? Why is that supposed to be the first required adventure?
Well, because it's about, well, let's go through the requirements. And then as you go through them, you'll kind of see why we want this to be the first required adventure that everybody's going to be doing each year. So here's some examples. I can't put it all up, so we're just going to focus on the lion year, the bear year, and the Arrow of Light, because now Arrow of Light is its own rank now, right? Webelos is just 4th grade and Arrow of Light is 5th grade. But here we go. We get started, and the first requirement kind of across the board is get to know the members of your den, right? So especially with lion, you have some brand new, you might have some new one with bear, or you might not have been meeting together over the summer. So you kind of want to spend some time getting to know each other once again. Now, we do know from our data that in 5th grade, those kids have probably been together for 2 or 3 or 4 years, right? And by the time you get to 5th grade, Arrow of Light, you have some stickiness in the program. So you probably know each other. So what we want you to do is lean into learning about Scouts BSA. So we actually have them as part of their getting to know each other. We have them choosing a patrol name and a patrol leader. All right.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yep.
Some other things that we go as we move along in the requirements. We have learning about the Scout Oath and the Scout Law in an age appropriate way. So, for example, in kindergarten, we're actually having the kids learn more about the Scout Law, and we just want the leader or an adult partner to read the Scout Law to them, and they spend some time, most of their time, talking about how to be friendly. Again, getting to know the other kids in their den, and so they're being friendly with them. And then in the bear year, they actually learn to recite it, and they learn a little bit about the components of the Scout Law and the Scout Oath. Now, again, here I say, you'll notice that it says recite with your den and your den leader. It doesn't say anything about having to recite it on your own. I challenge most of you to sing the Star Spangled Banner on your own. We can all do it as a group, but it's hard to do it individually.
You don't want to hear me try to sing, Lisa, for sure. I have a real quick clarifying question from a viewer. I hope I'm pronouncing their name right. Tevye or Tevi, Tevye. I think just to clarify, a few folks are having a similar question. If Bobcat is required first by each rank, then what is the difference other than the name change? The biggest difference is that before, once you were in the Bobcat, you never did it again. Now you get to do it sort of a recap and an update in an age-appropriate way at the start of every single year. Does that sound right, Lisa?
Absolutely. That's absolutely right. And it's really key to know that it's developmentally appropriate. And it's also, if we are an organization about the Scout Law and the Scout Oath, that's what guides us on everything. We should be talking about it a lot. And what a great way to get started on your program year is by reviewing the Scout Oath and the Scout Law.
Yep. And you can imagine earning the Bobcat rank as a 1st grader, and then you're in the 5th grade. I mean, that is ages apart. I mean, it's huge. Yeah. When I get 4 years older, it's not that big a deal. But when you go from 1st to 5th grade, it is a huge difference. So I really appreciate how it is now structured for each age. As an aside, Lisa, I also want to comment, speaking of confusion, it was always interesting to explain to new families. So, your rank depends on your grade, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, except for 4th and 5th, you're both Webelos, except for in 5th grade, you're Arrow of Light, Webelo, but still Webelo. So I do like how Webelos and Arrow of Light now, correct me if I'm wrong, is a separate rank.
Yes.
Very appropriate. Very appropriate. Yes. A lot of good comments, a lot of good questions. We have mostly a positive audience today. I appreciate that, guys, very much. Appreciate the enthusiasm. I want to get to our next slide real quickly. So there's something in the bear Bobcat requirements and the Arrow of Light requirements. Create a den code of conduct.
Yes.
That's an interesting addition. Can you maybe just comment on that real quick?
And so what it is by the time you get to in third grade, when we talk about leadership for Cub Scouts, what we're really talking about is not the person in charge, because they're really too young to be, quote unquote, the person in charge. But what they're talking about is personal leadership. What does my personal behavior do to tell other people about who I am and how I can set a good example? So a code of conduct is appropriate when you get into third grade. And so you'll see creating a code of conduct in third grade and fourth grade and fifth grade. And so the kids, the boys and girls, sit down together and they decide, what type of behavior would I like to see from myself and from the other kids in my den? So when we meet with a den meeting, this is how we should be behaving. So they get to identify it themselves. They don't have a parent deciding what works and what doesn't. So, and we all know that if they choose it themselves, they're more apt to internalize it and behave appropriately.
Yep, perfect. Alicia watching on Facebook says, since it is now an adventure, it isn't required to earn first before earning other adventures. It is recommended that we do the Bobcat adventure first. There is a reason for that. As we have shown, and we'll continue to show, there's a few more elements to the Bobcat requirements that make it ideal to earn first, I think, right, Lisa?
It is.
Yeah, you were saying before. Yeah, go ahead.
In the fall. In the fall is typically when we see most of the dens come back together. The program year actually does start the 1st of June, right? So all these program updates will roll out June 1st, 2024. That's when it becomes official. I do know that some dens and some packs, and they have kids do some adventures during the summer. And the National Cub Scouting Committee recommends that you focus on elective adventures, right? And so that way, that leaves everybody doing the same thing in the fall, working on their required adventures. And again, Bobcat should be the first required adventure. Now, then you can do your other required adventures and elective adventures in any order. But you'll see here in a minute why we're asking for the Bobcat to be done first.
And by the way, we could do a whole show based on summer activities. Oh, by the way, we have. Now's a good time to mention that every one of these Facebook Lives is available to go back and watch. If you're watching, maybe if you're joining us now for the first time, and this seems kind of overwhelming to you, don't worry. You can always go back and watch it again later, along with our other shows, including activities for the summer, in which, as Lisa said, electives, probably a good idea to tackle those during the summer because people are going to be traveling. Not everybody's going to be there. And that doesn't interfere with the Bobcat requirement being the first requirement, not the first adventure, the first required adventure to earn when you guys come back after summer break. Excellent stuff. Another reason why the Bobcat required adventure is suggested to be the first required adventure is because one of the new requirements, which is the final requirement on most of the electives, this is something that was not a part of the required program earlier. It was a part of the program, but not a part of the adventure, right, Lisa?
Right. So you'll see in the new adventure, in the updated adventure program, we have moved everything into the adventure program. So the way the program works right now is you have to do some adventures, plus you have to do some other things, some ancillary items. And one of those is to read, for the parent and child to sit down and read and do the activities in the How to Protect Your Child from Child Abuse pamphlet that's in every single youth handbook. Right. So that was ancillary. And it was one of the first things you are supposed to be doing each program year. And as we are an organization that is really about youth safety these days, it's really important to be sitting down with your child to do the activities in that book. So we actually moved it into the Bobcat rank. And it's in every single rank. And it is part of the Bobcat adventure. So again, this shows you why that Bobcat adventure needs to be completed first.
And this is a great, maybe a segue to talking about one of our larger talking points, Lisa, is how there used to be a lot of sort of, ancillary type activities that Cub Scouts could do, a lot of awards, a lot of these things like that, that quite frankly, I think new families, us old timers, we got it. We understood it, right? But we're not the people that need to really make it easy for new families. Correct me if I'm wrong. Found that a little bit confusing. So now everything is sort of under one umbrella. All those activities are still there. They're not going away, but they're all under that same program umbrella. Do I have that right, Lisa?
You are absolutely right. So like, for example, right now in the program, we have a number of awards and they're actually listed in the back of the handbook. And what we found is less than 2%, I think it was like 1.5% of people were actually doing them. We love the activities in them, but and at one time they probably incentivized some behaviors and changed some behaviors, but now that's become part of our DNA. So let's just change it to what it is. It's a recognition for an activity that was going to help anyway. So
yeah. Alexis watching on YouTube says, protect yourself is no more. It's added to Bobcat now. That's correct, Alexis. The protect yourself adventure is now part of the.
Well, no. There's a separate personal safety adventure. So those videos, those will be part of the personal safety adventure. This in the Bobcat, it's just the how to protect your child from child abuse pamphlet. So I just want to be clear about that. It's that pamphlet that's actually inside the adult partner guide or inside the youth handbook that you can kind of take out. I think, so that's what we're talking about. The videos, those are part of a separate adventure, and there'll be some other things that we will be requiring families to complete. So that will be in a different Cub Chat Live.
This is why we have Lisa on the show. When I say things that are mistaken, she's right here to correct me. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that very much. Again, we have a lot of folks watching and a lot of really good comments. Appreciate all of your comments and questions. And as usual, a lot of people are answering questions in the chat. Keep that going, guys. I really like that. A lot of good stuff today. Appreciate that. Lisa, I made another mistake. I actually skipped over one of the slides. You had highlighted the Cub Scout sign, salute, and Cub Scout handshake, all a part of the Bobcat Adventure. I also want to point out real quick, we're just showing Lion, Bear, and Arrow of Light here as an example. There are Bobcat Adventures for all the other ranks. These are just examples that we're choosing to highlight today. All of this stuff will be available in your handbooks next spring. You don't need to worry about that.
Right. So I'm just showing here some of the similarities. So let's move ahead and talk about how some of the requirements are different.
One right there. There you go.
Okay. So in the Bear year, as I talked about before, the kids are ready to be learning about some leadership responsibilities. So in the Bear year, we introduced the concept of a dinner position. Now, you'll notice, I really want to point out here, the requirement is to learn about the dinner position and responsibilities. It's just to learn about it. It doesn't say that every child in your den has to be a dinner before they earn their Bobcat adventure. All they have to do is learn about the concept. So I want to be super clear about that. I don't want people reading more into it than what we actually said. The intention is if you want to do the dinner position in your den, awesome sauce. I think you should be doing it, but that's not the requirement. The requirement is just to learn about it. And then when we get to Arrow of Light in 5th grade, the whole 5th grade year now is about getting these kids ready for a Scouts BSA troop. So you'll see in a lot of the adventures, that's what we're doing is we're talking in BSA nomenclature. And it's not just for the kids, it's for the parents. Because the difference between the Cub Scout program and the Scouts BSA program is huge. And it can be very scary for the parents. So in 5th grade, in the Bobcat Adventure, they learn about the patrol method. And they actually discuss its benefits. And then they make a patrol flag. And then they actually... The one requirement that's going to be tough for Arrow of Light to complete right away, and this is going to be a transition here this fall, is we want you to visit a Scouts BSA troop, right? That's one of the requirements. So the National Cub Scouting Committee worked with the National Scouts BSA's committee on this, right? And we also heard a lot from parents that are in the program. I need to learn more about Scouts BSA. And so while we want these kids to visit a troop, that's what we want to do. A lot of times right now that doesn't happen until the late fall, early winter. So next program year will be a time of transition. So the kids in Arrow of Light may find that they get all their Bobcat requirements done to earn the adventure, with the exception of that one. So it's okay I know I need to get it done. I will get it done, but you move on to some other adventures. So it'll be a time of transition as people move from, and troops and packs, troops and dens move from doing that later in the calendar year to earlier in the calendar year.
I think that's a great idea. Talk about another thing that I think a lot of us old timers kind of take for granted is knowing the difference between Cub Scouts and Scouts BSA. When I was a den leader back in the day, it was called, their older program was called Boy Scouts back then. And I didn't start, because that was kind of later in the calendar. Like you said, we didn't start doing that stuff till maybe December or January. And I mean, and our families were just amazed, like, wait a second, you mean you're not going to be the den leader anymore when we move over? And you know, and all these things, like the kids are going to do all this stuff on their own. And I was like, yeah, great idea to start that conversation in the fall. I think even just visiting a Scouts BSA meeting goes a long way to opening up some eyes about the difference when they see a meeting run by a senior patrol leader instead of a den leader or something like that. We got a few more minutes here with Lisa, guys. I want to real quick address a good question from Mark Daniel, kind of another clarifying question. Mark Daniel's watching on Facebook. If the pack is a year-long program, am I understanding correctly, you can do elective requirements in the summer before Bobcat Adventure? You are understanding that correctly. That's actually perfect. That's ideal. Do those in the summer, do your Bobcat in the fall. That is perfect. Let's talk real quick. We've had some folks asking about what used to be the Bobcat patch. First of all, no, I don't think anybody has to take the patch off their uniform. If they have a Bobcat patch on their uniform, that's still a valid patch. No reason to take it off. But they're going forward, or starting next summer, there won't be a patch. There will instead be a belt loop, and we've got the exciting reveal of what they're going to look like.
So we took the opportunity and refreshed what the Bobcat looks like, so that you'll see here, there's a Bobcat belt loop for lion, for tiger, for wolf, and for bear. And then we will have pins for Webelos and Arrow of Light. And so you see the patch there, and that's what it looks like right now. Now, if your unit has patches, then you should use them. A Scout is thrifty, right? Continue using them. And when you run out of them, then you can move over to the belt loop and the pins. And I'm not quite sure why the pins aren't showing up on the screen, but the Webelos and Arrow of Light will actually have, the Webelos has a round oval pin, and then the Arrow of Light, there we go,
there they are.
The actual, the arrowhead. And so those would go on what we are going to be calling the adventure colors, right? Right now they're called Webelos colors, but they'll be called adventure colors. So again, if your unit already has a bunch of Bobcat rank patches, then just call them Bobcat Adventure patches and use them. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. This, again, it's being thrifty. It's part of our rolling change.
Yeah, those patches are still a legitimate part of the uniform. No reason to throw them in the trash or remove them from your current shirts or anything like that. Yes. Matthew, watching on YouTube, says it would be good to have a PDF or something similar of this. That is coming, Matthew, and we're actually going to close our show today about reminding everybody of where you can go to get more information, things like PDFs and all that kind of stuff that will be available in the coming months. There are 4 different places you can go. One is the Cub Scout update, the Cub Scout program updates page. There's the official URL down there. You can also stay tuned for Cub Chat Live is now a podcast. You can watch us on Apple Podcasts or in Spotify. And you can, of course, continue to watch us on Facebook and YouTube. There's your link there to the 4 official sources where you can go to for more information. If you're asking about, oh, I'd love to see this graphic, I'd love to see this in print. I'd love to see this. That's where it's going to be. Go to this page right here or one of these pages, and you will find that if it's not there already. It will be there shortly. Lisa, we've covered a lot of ground today. Anything else that we need to add about the updates to the Bobcat adventure?
I just want to say it's very exciting. We're leaning into making the program fun, simple, and easy. You will see with these Bobcat requirements, the leader resources that we're going to be launching will include a lot of fun activities and games to help the kids, so that help the den leader be able to get the kids together and moving and doing things together. So never fear, den leaders. We're not going to tell you, oh, just get your kids to know each other. We're going to be providing some resources for you, some fun games and activities. So I'm super excited, and I hope everybody keeps watching Cub Chat Live. Audrey's got a lot planned to roll out all the new things that we're going to be doing, and it'll be very exciting come June 1st of 2024.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa, as always. It's always good to have you on again. Thank you, everybody, for watching at home. A lot of really productive, good questions and answers in the comments. We appreciate that as well. A reminder one more time, once we're done here, you can go back and watch this show again over and over again. You can pause, you can fast forward to the parts you don't care about. That's what we're here for. We appreciate that. Lisa, you enjoy your weekend. Everybody watching at home, you enjoy your weekend as well. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure to catch next week's episode. Same time, same place. And let us know how we're doing at go.scoutingmagazine.org/ratecubchat. We love feedback and ideas for new episodes. And you can visit blog.scoutingmagazine.org/cubchatlive for all our past video episodes. You can see us live. Except it's recorded, but it was live. Okay, see you next week.